go over and just do that like the clap in the hands. Don't hit him in the nose though. Perfect. Okay. Now
Okay, so just start off.
remember, you want to look in here whenever
we don't
you.
need you to say your name again because we're just going to put it as like text on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
But just start off saying basic background of you being a truck driver. So how long you've been doing it, maybe say what division you're in, and then maybe just kind of go into how you got, like what you did before and how you got into trucking. Okay?
And look right in there and go.
Okay. I've been driving since 2014. I come over to Prime Flatbed a little over 2 years ago. I worked offshore for 22, 23 years before I come driving a truck. Thought it was time for me to do my childhood dreams, driving a big truck.
Did you tell us about leaving something that you were familiar with and getting into? Let me zoom in on you a little bit more. And getting into leaving your comfort zone of what you know and you getting into something different.
It was very.
Now, I want you to do is
Kind of restate it a
Man,
bit,
I'll tell you
so,
what,
yeah.
it was leaving my comfort zone because I knew that and okay,
Kind of got to restate the question.
yeah.
Leaving offshore drilling, coming to trucking, it was really nerve-wracking. I started there when I was 20 years old, left when I was 44, 42, and then starting my childhood dream this late in my life, I was very nervous.
Just do me a favor and hand me that red and black
That's great.
thing. Yeah. I want it right here to stabilize my
Oh.
hand a little bit.
He's old and shaky.
Yes, exactly.
Could you maybe even say some of the reasons that it did make you a little nervous?
Coming from something that I was familiar with and coming into something different that I knew nothing about, but I knew I wanted to do it. I was just scared to death trying to leave something that I was more familiar with and jumping into something that I had no clue with.
What's some of the biggest adjustments that you had to make, like being away from family or, just your own thing?
Well, my family was used to me being gone 28 days and home for 28 days. So all my kids are grown, married, and have one child that's not married, my youngest son. So they've already used to me being gone. But now that I'm on the road, I stay out a little bit longer than 28 days. They're adjusting to it. They know that this is what my dream was, and my children back me up on it.
So when you say they're comfortable with it, talk about your comfort level of being away from all of that.
It seems like as I get older, it's getting tougher and tougher to be out away from the family. Going home, it's harder to come back out on the road, seeing the grandkids. I know my children, I was gone all their lives. Now, being away from my grandchildren growing up, it's tough, but it's something I got to do.
So you explained how, now is your girlfriend a driver or does she just sit with you?
No, she's my co-driver.
Okay, so again, kind of restate the question that, I'm lucky enough to have my girlfriend as my co-driver, but maybe talk about how it's still, if this is applicable, again, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Like here we are sitting in a truck stop, there's really nobody you know here. Maybe talk about that kind of culture of trucking, how, and maybe even if you could shed some limelight on how you're treated, good or bad. Just in the industry or in places like that would be some good information.
My girlfriend, she's my co-driver. She drives days, I drive nights. I was solo for years before she come on board. And life out here on the road it was lonesome, tough. And now that I have her on the road with me, life's become a little bit easier to deal with.
How about talk about, I'm sitting in this restaurant and I'm alone, which has happened many times, in my life, but, Yeah, it's just one of the things you have, price that you have to pay to do what you're doing.
Sitting in the truck stop while I was running solo, there was several holidays that I've spent alone. Couldn't get back home. I was either caught under a load or I was on my way to get a load and got hung up and had to stay out on the road. But it's just it's something that we have to deal with, and without strong support back home, you can't handle it out here.
So what is it? What are you looking at, Mike?
And
Making
it's
sure
cool
that's
that you have a
still-
co-driver now, because you have that contrast of when you're driving by yourself and when you have a friend with you, which
Yes.
is really nice to have.
Well, you're adapting well, yeah. So, talk about how you're treated as a truck driver anywhere, whether it's at a shipper or here, or, you know.
And some of them will be watching this, so be honest, don't
Yeah, I mean, if it's
sugarcoat.
good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. But
Let
don't
me give you a
hesitate to
little.
say what you feel.
So the reefer guy that we did, he actually told a story. I don't know if we're necessarily going to play it, of how the shipper, they took his
Yeah.
phone and threw it against the wall.
Good
So-
Lord.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the point is, there is a stigma as a truck driver that, I mean, I get it. My dad's in construction and he's always treated a certain way because he's always dirty with cement, But maybe talk about that and the life of a driver.
Well, before you start, my experiences with shippers and receivers are great.
Then
That's
that's
perfect.
okay.
And-
Yeah, go ahead and
That's
say
okay.
that.
But the way I was brought up, you treat them the way you want to be treated. Be professional, and you get the same.
Actually, in those
You know
words,
what?
part
Yeah,
of our mantra,
look,
saying that in camera would be great.
Whatever
Yeah.
it is, we're not trying to
Yeah.
skew it.
Yeah.
We'll get, some guys have good experiences, some don't, but you telling why you have a good one, it's not a bad thing. So
Yeah.
that's
So just talk
You just-
about the ship.
Yeah.
Other
Yeah.
drivers could learn from that.
Okay. As a shippers and receivers, I have a good experience with the shippers and receivers. I walk in professional. I treat them just as I would like to be treated. That's just the way I was raised. I walk in. If I see that the shipper receiver's having a bad day, I just kind of cut to my business and be done and go on about what I need to do. If they're having a good day, then I'll cut up a little bit with them. But if I see they're having a bad day, I'll make sure I do my job and tell them I hope their day gets better.
So you talked about you were offshore before. I don't know the living conditions when you work offshore. What is that, like a dormitory sort of thing?
Kind of a
Hotel?
dormitory with 4 guys.
So very similar. Could you talk a little bit more about the adjustment to living on a truck in terms of size? Now you have a co-driver, so you're sharing space. Granted, it's your girlfriend, so it's not like some random guy, right?
Yeah.
So that does help. But could you talk about how that is a challenge for you?
I was working offshore. Our rooms were anywhere from 2 to 4 guys per room. Not very much room for all of us with lockers and stuff like that. The room in the truck a little bit smaller, but I adjusted pretty well when my co-driver come in. I was used to being in small quarters with other people.
You have a fridge on your truck?
Yes, fridge and a deep freeze.
Oh, you have a deep freeze.
I gotta have my
That's
hog
really
and deer meat in there.
great. Well, there you go. That's actually why. See, I get some deer jerky. with
Yeah,
it.
but
Can you talk
it's from
about
the
how-
deer that he hits on the rim.
That's why you got the deer guard. Put that in the freezer, huh?
You hit a deer, pull over.
Hey, I get it. I'm from around here. So, can you talk about, though, how you kind of have to prepare your food? You were just mentioning you guys have to get some groceries and stuff where you
Yes.
have to get on the road. So how you have to plan that? Because, for us, we get to go home every day, and if I need to stop at the store, I'm just pulling in to get milk or whatever. So maybe talk about how you have to plan in advance to have everything available.
When it comes to getting prepared for the road, we usually, when we leave Springfield, we usually go to Walmart or the grocery stores. We usually buy 2 weeks worth of groceries, and my girlfriend, she's real good at preparing the meat and all that. She knows how to spread it out, and we cook most of our meals on the truck. Well, she does. I just eat it.
That'll be a fun
Is she gonna be there too?
Yeah, I
at
think
the
your girlfriend
meeting?
will be
Yeah,
there.
because she
Okay.
got a co-driver of the year as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's I just eat it. Everyone would die laughing at that. I think you need to put that in there. So let's talk about health. I don't know what you were like when you were offshore, you know, and granted, you spent a lot of time there, but how, and you don't have to answer me, camera, has your health changed at all, like since being on the truck? Have you noticed any differences in that way?
No, not really. I've been the same.
Just
I'm
what are
getting a
the
little
biggest-
older.
Yeah.
His
Right,
lifestyle
right.
hadn't
We
changed
all
as
are.
much as others.
Flatbed just don't go well with my old bones.
Right, right.
What are some of the biggest, I mean, we're kind of feeding you what we think might be challenges. I mean, if you just had to sit there and say, here's the toughest things about my job or the more biggest challenges I face, what do you think those are, or what?
And you don't even have to speak in the camera yet, but maybe just snowball off. Yeah, I mean, what's been hard for you on the road?
I think he likes it.
I know.
Well,
that's what I mean.
that's all
Which is good, yeah.
Just kidding.
It's my childhood dream. I love it. I
Yeah.
enjoy it. When I was this big, I told my granddad I was going to drive a big truck.
Well, you need to do that right in the camera right now. Say that.
What's
Well,
that?
and then maybe explain why it was your childhood dream. You know, like what prompted that to say I wanted to? Was it seeing all over the world? Or?
What prompted me to become a driver? Since I was a kid, I wanted to drive. I used to sit out my granddad's curb in front of the road, and had a big hill that would come down in front of his house. And every time I'd hear them jake brakes coming down, I'd always run in the back of the yard, run up to the curb, and I'd sit there, and my granddad would ask me, "What are you doing?" I told him, "One day I'm gonna drive one of them big trucks." It took me a while.
That's pretty cool.
But I'm here.
Let me thank you.
No, that's good.
That is really good.
How about, just so, because I might get you acting like you're gonna order something here. How about something along the different, you gotta, but do you cook every meal on board, or do you ever get
That's
fast
what I mean. I
food?
hate for him to go order there if he just says he prepares all the meals on board.
No, we'll get a meal or two here and there.
Okay.
We order it. I treat her to a meal here because she does all the cooking, and she does need a break. So we do order. Sometimes we'll order at the truck stop, or we'll take a lift and go eat a steak.
You know, even if you're cooking on the truck, which is much more healthy than eating a meal, for sure. I have to believe it's at least a challenge for your girlfriend, where she doesn't have a big kitchen, she's got limited cooking ability. I mean, that probably takes a lot more planning and creativity to, maybe not now, she might have it down, but I gotta believe at the beginning, she spent a lot of time trying to figure out what you had to buy at Walmart, how you prepared things, and what utensils you had. I mean, that's gotta be tough. I would think difficult.
I don't know how she does it, because when I'm in the driver's seat, she gets back there and she does what she does. And when the ringer goes off, it's time for me to eat. But we have an air fryer and a crock pot, and she just puts it in there, and
I got a question. So when you do make it home and you do get to see your grandkids, describe that a little bit.
every day on the road, to me, it's one day closer to home. When I do go home, I devote all my time to my kids and my grandkids. I do nothing but spend my time with them, fishing, hunting, cooking.
Tell me about the grandkids.
I have a small grandson. His name is Kobe. I call him Stone Cold Kobe. He's a little toot. Then I have Autumn, his sister. Then I have Rochelle. And as I get older, they keep asking me, when you coming home, Papa? When you coming home? But
Would you say that as I get older, because that doorbell, and I really like that one. So if you'd say that again about as I get older and they want to know when I'm coming home. Go ahead.
as I get older, they keep telling me, asking me, when you coming home, Papa? And the more they ask me, I usually wind up changing my home time a little earlier, because I just want to spend time with my grandkids.
That's good. That might be a good ending.
Yeah, that's a good. Well, he's had several good things.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what I covered. Anything else?
or not covered that we were gonna cover.
Yeah.
Any issues with your time? Meaning you only have so much time, on the clock. Helps to be a team, no question. But you face challenges, whether it's at the shipper, receiver, at shops, whatever it might be. Are there any challenges you see from a time perspective?
Or worded a different way, what recommendations or improvements would you suggest from
Yeah.
shippers? I know you said you had great experiences, but facilities,
Never make it
anything.
better. So,
When it comes to time challenges going to shipper and receivers and on the, stopping at truck stop and stuff like that. I myself like to be ahead of schedule at all times. As soon as I get dispatched to a load, I will call the shipper and say, hey, can I come in early and get this load, or do you have any idea when it might be ready? And that's where I do my trip planning from that point. Most of the time, most of the shippers do let me come in to get my load and move on down the road. Just good trip planning. Good trip planning, you'll stay on top of everything.
Okay.
who's that beeping?
Do you get that in that video at all?
Beeping right now?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's been doing it for a long time. I don't know what it is.
Oh, that,
Maybe it's that.
it might be, I'm sure it'll be on it, but
See,
we're in a busy
I
area.
have a
so-
bunch of drivers that always tell me, how do you always stay rolling? How do you always stay so positive? I said, because I stay on top of it. I said, if I get dispatched and it tells me,
Tell me that story, but look
Yeah.
into just like you are, you can use your hands and everything. Go
Okay.
ahead.
I have some drivers that ask me, how do you always stay rolling? How do you always stay positive on most of the things? Once I get dispatched and I see that my appointment time is 2 hours from when they dispatch me, I go ahead and call my O1, my shipper, and talk to him and see if I can get in there early. Good attitude and a good conversation with them, good relationship with the shippers and receivers goes a long ways.
It's good. Nikki's still here?
Daryl figured it out. It was the door. He's over there shutting it.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Some oven thing.
A lot of these drivers don't realize these shippers and receivers